Bitcoin crashing. Actually, when you look at the charts, we see a clear area that we've had marked out for some time. This zone right here. In fact, if the price action did move down to this territory, we would be clearing out that CME futures gap that we've been watching for some time. As we look at it right now, it bounced right off of that. I'm still expecting this area to get flushed out, which would ultimately see this on the spot price coming down to about 113, maybe as low as 112, even potentially a bear trap below that. Beyond that, also with the altcoin market, people are freaking out, but I've got some incredible stories I'm going to show you here in just a moment of why we're going to see price action somewhere up in these territories. The question is, at what level is this going to go up to? I'm going to break down exactly how we can determine that, because these levels are nothing of a small feat. The conservative level would be $1 trillion more growth in the altcoin market. The 2.618 would be $2.4 trillion in growth. And in fact, based on what we saw the last cycle, which came up to the 3.618 fib, if we do that again, that would be 3.68, almost $3.7 trillion more to come in the alt market. Everybody hit the like button, hit that subscribe button, ding the bell. We got some incredible signals to be covering today. Make sure you're subscribing because we're keeping you on the right side of the trend. Now let's get this going, reshare this out. I'm going to do my job. We're going to get right in.
Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me nothing. Bitcoin, pump, altcoins, pump. I've been preparing for this. Can't nobody tell me.
What is up, BitLab fam? It's Friday, July 25th, and we're seeing the market panic while we see the price action on Bitcoin pull back to an area that I've been talking about for a couple weeks now. Everybody was so excited with the price action pushing up into that $123,000. And because we had the move up, everybody always thinks that it's just going to continue up. And so they leverage long only to get wiped out. And we've seen that in the liquidation heat maps, but we're seeing some very incredible things now where we're getting a lot of people shorting. And we know this because we're getting a lot of liquidity above the price position that we are currently at right now. Let's go ahead and look at that full screen. We see all of this liquidity piling up. This is like a magnet to the upside, but this is not the only data. We've got a cacophony of data. I'm dropping SAT words today. We got a lot of data that's aligning with the upside most likely. Now, what people get most confused about with that, when we're seeing Bitcoin at 115,000 is crashing, man, this is just a baby pullback from what we just saw hit $123,000. While we know the data that has suggested that price will come back and reset a little bit, because in every single asset that you can trade, this is not unique just to Bitcoin and your altcoins. This is any asset you can trade. On a bull trend, you see a rise, a retrace, bulls defend, continuation. What defines that is on the retrace, is the high, is the low higher than the previous low? Are we consistent with these higher lows along the way? We want to buy up those dips to maximize our profits, because we're also seeing some incredible signals in the altcoin market, especially speaking of Ethereum, which we're going to be covering here in just a moment. But we've got hundreds of people pouring in right now. I know we're going to have a few thousand in just a few minutes. So as you are in here, do me some Friday love. Hit the like button. Look down below this video if you're watching on YouTube or Rumble or X. If you're on X, hit the heart button. If you're on YouTube or Rumble, hit the thumbs up, hit the like button, and make sure you are subscribed. We got about half the people that watch on a daily basis. Somehow you're not subscribed. You might not even realize it because you watch so often, but look down below, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications. Also, I'd like to say, I hope you're all having a good week. I hope you're all have a good weekend. I have some other content that's coming out next week. There's going to be some lives, but it's not going to be lives all week, every day. I'm going to be doing some other things as well. I'm going to be in Maui next week, spending some time with my 103-year-old grandfather, who also, yes, at 103, when he was born, he was the first person in like a 20-mile area. His family were the first person, family with a light bulb And yet he's 103 and he's got crypto. He's got quite a bit of crypto. And so for those of you that are sitting on the sidelines, a guy that was born with the first light bulb in his house in his area, now he's still out trading you, having Bitcoin and some other top cap altcoins out there. I mean, come on, guys. We need to make sure that we're not getting left behind by somebody that was born before the computer existed. Come on, everybody. Let's get into this because we got some incredibly bullish signals. But why would you be talking about that when we're on a day with the pullback? It's these pullbacks that make you the most profits when you understand what is going on. So let's make sure we're not getting sidelined by our emotions and our hope and our fear and our greed. We're looking at the data. We're utilizing that data to paint the picture of probability to make sure that we can take the smartest trades so that we don't lend our capital to people that have a better strategy out there, because there are some beautiful things brewing on a day like today when the market's showing a little bit of a pullback and we're so midterm and macro bullish. We should be singing in the streets that we have an opportunity to buy Link under $18, to buy Bitcoin under $120,000, to buy Ondo back at $1, to buy, I mean, guys, we're seeing the proper pullbacks in a scenario in which everything is painted a more bullish picture. So let's celebrate this and find the opportunities, because as we're looking at this and we're sitting there, you know, all of us, myself included, we get lost in our emotions sometimes, but then we remember that we still see the crypto market cap at $3.79 trillion. So we had a little bit of a pullback. It wasn't so long ago. Let's pull this up. It wasn't so long ago. Let's go to 1 year. 1 year. Okay. Let's zoom down a little bit. Let's see. April, we were only at a total crypto market cap of $2.42 trillion. So we've gone up over $1 trillion since April. Over $1 trillion in growth in the crypto marketplace since April. If we go all the way back to, let's look at this. What date is this? This is August of last year. We're under $2 trillion. We're sitting here firmly cozied up right near that $4 trillion mark. And about a year ago, we were under 2 trillion. We do not need to get so lost in our feels. Our feels are what contribute to our losses in the market. Do not get lost in your feels, because your feels are what contribute to your losses in the market. I just had to re-emphasize that. So let's go ahead and go through some of these things, because we got some major things at play. Now, as I outlined at the beginning of this stream, we're watching this. We've had this drawn out. We've had this green box here for a couple weeks now. As this pumped up into here, we're looking a little bit lower. And some of you are like, well, why are you drawing the downside target when the market is so bullish? Because the market goes from being bullish to having reversals to shake those of you out. And it's some of you watching right now. Some of you may have already been shaken out, or you're on the cusp of being shaken out. It's this bullishness that these moves to the downside wreck you, because this is a buying opportunity. This is what we're looking for. So when you see this lose this area, even if you had upside targets, always draw the downside possibilities so that you can take advantage of them when they come. And in this case, we have this. This is the CME futures gap area, but this is painted on the spot market, meaning spot is when I buy $100 worth of Bitcoin and I get $100 worth of Bitcoin. Futures is when people are basically trading, basically in the traditional aspect of the stock market, but trading futures on the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. And there's a little bit of a premium, meaning it costs a little bit more. And there's the price is a little bit higher on the CME. You look at this right here. This is that gap that I have painted out on that other chart. And I have it shared on my X. If you're not following me, I'm not sure what you're doing. Make sure you're following me. It's right here, spelled like this. The only way to spell it, no dot, no ones, no misspell. Make sure you're following. And you see these two tags right here. Make sure you're following the correct account. But when we're looking at this, we see the CME futures, BTC1 exclamation point. That's how you pull it up if you're looking to pull it up on your charts. And this is 116,690. What is it on spot? Oh, 115,349. So it's over $1,000 lower on spot, because they are both trading Bitcoin, but it's a slightly different approach, right? You're betting on, again, it's futures. So when we know that this is a little bit higher and the gap here on futures is 114 to 116, then I can also suggest that when we're looking at it in the market, that look, this is a little bit lower, 112 up to about 114. Now this may hit exactly, this may be way off, this price may not even come down here, but we are prepared if it does. As it stands right now, the strength fell out the bottom. And what have I been talking about for the last several months? And I've been talking about it for a few years on this channel, but this 50% line is so much more important than you realize. I'm going to do a line right here, and you see it's right at 50.22, but consider this at 50%. When on a chart you're looking at, in this case, we're looking at the 4-hour, when the RSI, the strength of the buying or the weakness of buying that ends up being weakness in the market. So strength in market, weakness in market. When this is dominating up here on the upper half, strength is in control. When this area is lost, and look, this bounced on this a number of times, bounce, 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 bounce. And look at this, fell through, boom, no more strength. The bulls gave up for a second. The bears took over. Now this came down, but we're still seeing money flow up. So we want to see how this money flow, you can just type in CMF or Chaikin money flow, or you can use the BitLab trading stack, which has the money flow included in this oscillator. The blue wave is positive. The red wave is, or purple wave is negative. Same thing when you look at Market Cipher, the green wave is positive, and see right here, the green wave is positive money flow, red wave is negative. But we're looking at this. I've been looking a lot at just the traditional indicators, just for those of you that don't have these other things. But strength fell out, but money flow is still up. So this could be a bear trap. This very well could be a bear trap, and this could slingshot back up, find support, and then launch from there. But as it stands right now, we've seen weakness kind of come into this market with this falling into the lower the lower half of the market. Even on the 1-hour chart, look at this, breaks down below the 50, comes up and rejects just below it. You see how that rejected? The RSI came up, rejected, came back down, and the money flow is very negative on the 1-hour. So I'm watching this area. We're coming into the end of the month. We have the FOMC meeting next Wednesday. So I do think there's a little bit of softening of the super bullishness while they're letting the market kind of jockey itself around. We have the August 1st deadline for a lot of the rest of the trade and tariff stuff. So there's things coming into the end of this month. It makes sense if there's a little uncertainty and not just full conviction buy, press the pedal to the metal. It makes sense. And we have this area marked out, which we've been talking about. So let's just mine this area. Maybe it doesn't hit, but I want to be prepared if it does. Now, beyond that, we've also got the altcoin market where people are worried because the prices are falling. Well, this is the total too. This is everything in crypto minus Bitcoin. Okay, so what we're looking here, we see this excluding Bitcoin. So this is Ethereum, Cardano, everything in the market minus Bitcoin. And what we're seeing is if you take a Fibonacci measurement from here to here and you have a fib extension, this literally tapped right on the 3.618. Now, you could argue because of the new landscape of everything happening in the government level and the empowerment of regulation and clarity and banks coming in, all the stuff, that maybe we hit 3.618 again, which is basically the golden fib extension. If you want to be a bit more conservative, maybe it doesn't go anywhere near that high and only hits the 1.618. Maybe it actually kind of splits the difference and it goes somewhere in here. Well, I have it broken down for you here. The conservative 1.618 fib extension, which would be right here, which would be, look at that, 2.51 trillion. Currently, we're at 1.43 trillion. But Kelly, you just said that we were just under 4 trillion. Yes, but remember, you have to understand how this market is laid out, okay? Of that 3.8 trillion, as we see right here, almost 2.3 trillion of that is Bitcoin. So when you're looking at this chart, this is subtracting without the market cap of Bitcoin. So with all the alts, you see we're currently at 1 point. With every other altcoin out there, we're not even as much market cap as Bitcoin by itself. Do you realize that's why Bitcoin is so important to the entire crypto ecosystem? Okay, we're at $1.43 trillion. If we went very conservative, which I think we will I'm pretty sure, but I'll hedge myself. I'm pretty sure we're going to at least hit the 1.618. That would be another over $1 trillion in growth coming into the altcoin market. If we hit the 2.618, which is right here, that would be up to 3.84 trillion, which would be $2.4 trillion coming into the altcoins. This is all altcoins, not Bitcoin. And of course, if we go to the same level that we did last cycle, which some would say isn't possible because we're going to get diminishing returns. On the other hand, you have to realize we also just had the doorway just not only knocked, like broken open, we had the entire wall of the building removed like a dam. It's not just a pinprick now where there's some, a faucet with some water going through. No, they took the entire dam out and everything can flood in at its own pace now because of regulation and the banks coming in and stable coins and ETFs and all these things happening at once. We very much may go up to this 3.618. Hell, we may go beyond it. And if that's the case, that would be a $5 trillion altcoin market. Do you understand how important that is? A $5 trillion altcoin market would mean, 10X's, 30X's, 100X's, 300X's, depending on the asset, depending on the market cap, depending on what type of integrations and partnerships. But broadly, what this means is the altcoin market is likely to see some dramatic gains. And that would be another $3.68 trillion coming into the market if we hit this. If we went beyond, well, we'll have to talk about it there. But we have so much bullishness coming into this market, and people are sitting here looking at the charts going, guys, it's a bear market now because we dropped a couple percentage points. No, this is part of the process. For those of you that are new, this is part of the process. When you see your favorite football player playing the game, you don't get upset when he sits on the bench after he's played 37 downs. It makes sense when they take him off, let him rest, get some water and Gatorade, relax a little bit, and then they send him back out so he can be most effective. That's the same thing that's happening here with the market. The market has a lot of bullish momentum that goes up. People take some profits. Some market makers make some moves. They try to trap and get free liquidity by, basically selling off and then accelerating the sell-off and then seeing where the natural bulls come back in to define a higher low if they're able to. And if they are, it continues until they're not able to, until there's been enough rotation from strong-handed people that understand how this market works to where you have all the long-term players and the smart money that's taken all their profits and all, or the ratio is flipped to now being predominantly short-term holders, weak hands, people that are buying the hype. And then all of a sudden they're not willing to defend the low anymore. And then you have the market roll over and get a bear market. So this is one of the reasons why I think we're going to extend into 2026 and not have the top of this cycle on the 4-year cycle. It's going to be in October this year because it always happens that way. Well, we also just had corporations racing to stack, governments racing to stack, smart money racing to stack, different Bitcoin financialization projects and products like mortgages and mortgage lending and equity and strategy and meta. Guys, what is about to happen over the next 10 years is you are going to laugh at this moment when you're like, I can't believe it pulled back from 123 to 115. Stack. That's what everything right now. Oh my God, Ondo lost the dollar. We should sell it all. No, guys, understand what's coming and you look at these types of things like a gift. Now, what else we got? We got some major things because what was I just talking about? The bull market is going to persist as long as big money, smart money, and long-term minded people are stacking in. And we're seeing the data on chain right now where the only suckers that are selling predominantly are, look at this. What is the purple wave? Retail. I'm scared. While the smart money and big money players, large investors, are stacking like there's no tomorrow. I'm following the smart money, not Steve, that's leverage trading his last $37 and he's scared because it dropped 2%. The big money's stacking in. It's time to lock it in, everybody. Sorry about that. Got a little bit of a cough. Now, I do want to welcome everybody into the room. Shout out to you if you're new here. If this is your first time, I can guarantee it's not going to be your last time. My name's Kellam. Welcome to the BitLab Academy family. I do want to shout out our channel partners, Bitcoin IRA, which you can find more information on them over at bitcoinira.com. They've got a great retirement products there where you can day trade and be tax deferred. That sucks. That's boring. Well, do you want to take 20 to 30% taxes on every trade you're making this year because you're short-term trading and you're doing it to roll it into Bitcoin, but now you're taking 20, 30% haircuts because you're paying tax on those trades. You can trade up to 80 different cryptocurrencies here, as well as other assets there in your IRA. So head over to bitcoinira.com, phone number 877-936-7175. Again, that's 877-936-7175. Let them know the BitLab Academy family sent you or Kellam sent you. They will take care of you. And you can roll over your old 401ks. If you got a couple from other businesses, get them all in one spot. And make sure you're taking your future seriously. And also, on that note, before we get into the TA, I want to see every one of you drop some coins in the live chat right now. What do you want to see some technical analysis on? And we'll get to it. I also want to say, while we're doing this, make sure that you are protected. I lost my goddamn mouse. Come on. Where the fuck is my mouse? There we go. All right. Back to regularly scheduled programming. One of the things I also want to make sure that you do is protect your crypto so you can protect your future. Get the best crypto cold storage solution there is out there. Head over to GetArculus, which is GETARCULUS, getarculus.com. Use code BitLab, BITLAB20, BitLab20 for 20% off. Protect your crypto, protect your future. Now, I see some of y'all's coins rolling in here. Let's jump into this and look at what we got to see, because we got some big things. And as you guys continue to drop your live comments in there, I want to see you guys get active in these live chats. I don't know why my channel, I'm gonna huff and puff for a second. I go to other people's channels, the damn live chat is just flowing, and I don't know if I'm just talking too fast. I don't know what it is, but people, it's like, okay, here's a comment. Come on, this is between both of us. Let's get active together. The more you give me, the more I can give you. Help me, help you, baby. Come on, get active in this live chat, whether you're on Rumble, whether on YouTube, whether on X. I could see them all in one window right here. So big love to you. Now let's get back over to it, because we got some other things we got to see. The money flow. The U.S. money supply is at an all-time high, everybody. And this has been a proven signal that has been a magnet for price action to the upside for the crypto market. And in addition to that, at the same time, Bitcoin is not moving up on my 1-minute chart, so the bull run's canceled. No, we're seeing so many different data, not just the money flow or the money supply. We also see all of this liquidity that is above us up here in the 119 to 120, 121,000 level. We have so many indications in addition to all the other things we're talking about: Bitcoin treasuries, the proxies, the financialization of Bitcoin, the strategic Bitcoin reserve, corporate stacking, big money stacking. Up is the trend right now, guys. Take advantage of the downside, because up is the trend. And then we also got gold. It's only a matter of time before Bitcoin follows gold and goes parabolic. And at the same time, it's like, guys, the next move, the major move, is going to be up. Global liquidity up, gold's going parabolic, Bitcoin acceptance on a global stage is here. Bitcoin's persistent move is up. And when you understand this, you realize the frustration you have is because you're not looking at the right chart. You're over here going, why is Bitcoin going down? Because you're sitting here on a 3-minute chart going, it's over. Well, come out here to the 3-day or above. What do you see on the 3-day? Just up and to the right, okay? Yes, we had a sell-off here. Great opportunity, up and to the right, okay? Even when we zoom in just a little bit, oh my God, look at this bull flag here. People say we broke the bull flag. Did we, or is it a bear trap? Well, it's yet to be determined. Man, sorry. Something tickling my throat. But then we also see on the 12-hour, beautiful charts. And if this were to come back and retest 112,000, would that be the end of the world? Is that the market over because it lost 114, it lost 113? This would do 3 things. This would flush out the over bullishness. If the price dropped from where it's now to 112,000, it would flush out the over bullishness. You would start getting people committed going short, giving more liquidity above us in these liquidation heat maps. More liquidity would come in up above us as people short. In addition to that, you also have that CME futures gap that we're talking about that we've highlighted, which is that zone right in that area, 111, 113. We would flush out that CME futures gap that is kind of a magnet below us. So we would retest the previous range high, we would clear the CME futures gap, we clear out the over bullishness. That feels pretty bullish to me. So let's hope that we get $112,000 Bitcoin, because that would be, for me, a great opportunity for upside. Late on Ondo, I'm buying some every week, though, little by little. Well, I don't think you're late, because the project is still fairly young and they have incredible partnerships and a huge amount of things that they're going to be deploying here in the very near future. I'm going to wink, 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 wink. Hey, guys, sometimes I have some inside knowledge, just letting you know. So we got that. We have the money flow up. We've got the gold going parabolic. We've also seen some of the reason that might be sparking why some of this downside price action is happening. Galaxy Digital sells off 30,000 Bitcoin. Oh, but you know what they also did? They also stacked a bit into Ethereum. Now, does this mean it's over for Bitcoin? No, Bitcoin's going to be fine. But this also sparks some of the stupid frenzy people have if somebody takes profits or rotates capital anywhere. I don't care if they're big or small. People are going to have different strategies for what and why they're doing things in the market. At the same time that they're, rolling off this, you also see Michael Saylor that is raising another $2 billion plus to buy more Bitcoin for one of his new products. And you're only seeing increases from Metaplanet. You're only seeing an exponential, which I went over yesterday, an exponential increase in corporate buying of Bitcoin. But what we're starting to see now is the altcoin market really opening up and getting woken up to in the Wall Street area and the rest of the world. So Galaxy, rolling some Bitcoin into Ethereum. But then we also got one of the BlackRock digital asset pioneers join SharpLink. Now, this is important because SharpLink is also Joe Lubin, one of the founders of Ethereum. It's not just Vitalik. It's Charles Hoskinson, Joe Lubin, what's the other guy's name? Woods, something Woods, and of course, Ethereum, not Ethereum, Vitalik Buterin. But Joe Lubin is one of those Ethereum founders, and he's also on the board of SharpLink. And SharpLink, by the way, SharpLink has, look at this, $1.34 billion in Ethereum. So one of the pioneers of digital assets from BlackRock is now the co-CEO of this, focusing on these ETH treasuries. So you're starting to see the world open up to what Ethereum is going to be in terms of the Wall Street players, the big money players out there. And this is going to start signaling a lot of capital growth in the Ethereum and thus the altcoin marketplace. So let's just make sure of that. I had something here. I don't know what it was. Ethereum, Chainlink. If anybody's wondering, is Chainlink actually worth it? Why isn't it doing anything? It's been consolidating for 5 years into an inflection point right now on the charts. Well, if you're wondering what it does, look at Chainlink, stablecoins, TradFi, governments, cross-chain, tokenized RWAs, Bitcoin-Fi, LSTs, LRTs, EFTs, infrastructure, AI, Memecoins, GameFi, DeFi, enterprise system, OEV, NFTs. This is interlinking all old world financial tech, data aggregation and data oracle services, as well as interoperability protocols between chains and between other financial institutions like SWIFT, the larger global payments network, and of course DTCC, that network that settles all the different transactions and monetary flow within the stock markets. Quadrillions of dollars a year, that just in those two things. But then in addition to that, also being that interlinking technology for the majority of the crypto ecosystem as well. So the fact that you're bored with Chainlink not running yet, when you understand that chart that I just showed, if I can find Chainlink right here, and you realize that this has been consolidating into this beautiful, look at this, 5 years, 2020, March 2020 right here. And then we got 2023 right here. Then we got 2025 right here. And then look at this, 2020. So we've got this all just constricting into a pressure point right here. And now we also, within this pressure point, have a W formation, a break of this multiple year trend line, which we've had before, a bit of a deviation. So you got to be cautious. But much like I drew a few weeks ago, a move up, a likely move down, and then the continuation, chopping this $21 range. And then once we break through this, and especially break through 30 and above, I believe this is going to be taking some targets of these to the upside, 88, 200, 300, 5. We'll have to take it step by step. But the point is, this is so darn interconnected. The fundamentals are suggesting higher, and the price is not yet responding. That's the perfect time to buy something, everybody. And I can't tell you when to buy, when to sell, but all I can say is the strategy that I'm looking at says the fundamentals are delivering, the price will follow soon. And then we've also got, where is it at? One more right here. For those people out there that are dog holders wondering when it's going to go. Well, I just want to show something here. This is from a private chat with Matthew Highland in the dog community. But what we're seeing here, this is Doge. This is Doge compared to dog. And what are we seeing? This is what Doge did. I mean, look at the almost perfect symmetry of these moves. The breakdown here, a little resurgence here and then down, little resurgence here and then down. Oh, we had a little bit of a run up. Cool. And then the consolidation. Okay, a little bit of a run up. Cool. Consolidation. Well, what was next? Massive upside. Now, will this play out exactly as we saw on Doge? Nobody has any idea. But the symmetry that we're seeing so far and the understanding of the context of the broader crypto market as we see it right now, and the forward-looking, overwhelming bullishness with all these capital channels flooding into the crypto with access and growing awareness, my indication for this is up is most likely. Now, with something like Dog, which has a fairly small-ish market cap, around $380 million, a downside here, even if it only comes to here, this could represent a 15, 20, 30% loss. So you need to realize if you're going to invest in something or trade something like Dog or Dogecoin or any meme coin out there, that there's going to be rapids along the way that are trying to shake you out the boat. But I feel like the meme community, which I am not a meme coiner, you all know this, I'm all blue chip, but Dog to me is the best meme coin out there because 1, it's on Bitcoin. 2, there's no team tokens. 3, there's no paid KOLs. I don't get paid. Nobody gets paid. It's just a great project with great tokenomics and the free, fair, the Bitcoin ethos behind it. If you, about 100,000 holders, guys. Like for me, if I'm going to hold a meme and I want something in every specific niche in the market, and memes are a big niche, I think Dog is going to absolutely moonshot. And will it follow this like we've seen so far? I'm not sure, but I'll be there holding if it does. So make sure you know what you're doing about your assets and everything. But this is looking like, and it probably won't just be Dog. We're probably going to see a pretty big resurgence in the meme community here in the near future. Now, why is that? Because as we see new retail come into the market, they don't understand unit bias. They look at Bitcoin and they think Bitcoin's too expensive. I can't afford $115,000. Well, that's just necessary ignorance because they don't understand the market. They go, I can't afford $115,000. Or even if they understand that it's fractional and you don't have to buy a Bitcoin, they don't want to buy $200 worth of Bitcoin and get 0.0002 because the psychological effect is like, that's not exciting to having a decimal point or something. It's all irrelevant. All this stuff is just nonsense that so many people have issues navigating in this market, which is knowledge of how this market works. That's why the meme community has such a stranglehold on retail. Oh, you're telling me I could buy 322 million of this piece of shit coin over here? They don't realize it's a piece of shit. They're going, I get to tell somebody I have 320 million of these. And then they think, oh my God, when this goes to the price of Bitcoin, dude, even somebody yesterday, and Benjamin Cowan ratioed this guy so hard. Listen, if you're holding XRP, I hope you make a lot of money. I'm not hating on XRP, but I want to tell you something. If you don't understand how tokenomics work and market caps work and token supply works, then you don't deserve any argument in any live chat that you're at anywhere. You should stick your head in the sand and have somebody strap your face to a book and learn these things. If XRP went to $2,000 per coin, do you realize the exponential market cap that would be for XRP? I saw somebody post, hey guys, well, this guy that's the CEO of this digital asset, blah, blah, blah. Well, that guy, first off, should not be the CEO of a digital asset company if he's suggesting XRP is going to $2,000. It doesn't make sense. It's like a $114 trillion market cap. That's not happening. It is literally irrationally stupid to think so. Now, I hope you make money on XRP. Now, $10 XRP, great. $30 XRP, maybe even, great. That would still be outlandish to me. $100 XRP, now you're kind of getting into la la land. $300, I mean, what are you talking about? 2,000, you don't understand math. Okay, that's what you need to understand. Now, I hope no matter what you hold, whether it's Bonk, whether it's Pingu, whether it's Dog, whether it's Shiba Inu, whether it's Chainlink, whether it's XRP, whether it's Hex, I don't care what you hold. I hope you make money. I just want to make sure that you understand the information that you are deciphering versus filtering it in to some fantasy that you think is going to make you money only to be left holding the bag because you don't understand how the markets work. All of us have been there. All of us have bought the wrong asset. All of us have held on too long. Make sure you understand along the way. You can always learn more. You can always rotate out of a position. You can always cut a loss. You can always adjust your portfolio to be more substantially stacked. So you mean the Simpsons might be right at 589? Yeah, XRP is going to 589 and it's going to be yuan. It's going to be Thai baht, which is nowhere near $589. So let's get into some of this TA before we roll out of here because we got some things to look at. We looked at Link. We looked at Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and take a peek at Ethereum. Ethereum, I mean, looking beautiful so far. And even as Bitcoin fell as it did, what we're actually seeing here is beautiful because look at this. Bitcoin fell a bit. We're on the 3-day. Let's go to the 4-hour. Bitcoin fell out of this pattern that you would have seen on Bitcoin. And Ethereum is holding up relatively nicely. And you can kind of see this in the Bitcoin dominance because Bitcoin's falling and so is the dominance. Now, why would that happen? Why would Bitcoin fall and the dominance fall? It's because Ethereum and other major altcoins are not following suit, which kind of shows a shift in trend from what we've seen so far in this market. When Bitcoin falls, altcoins just tank. Well, now the strength of the Bitcoin and crypto market is feeling confident. And so if Bitcoin's taking a little bit of a spill and there's confidence it's still going to continue going higher out of this dip, then altcoins are also starting to, wake up to this capital attention that's happening. So this is on, let's go to the 1 hour. You see, Bitcoin's been kind of dropping and so is the dominance. And that's partially because Ethereum, look at this, Ethereum's relatively holding up in this zone. This does look like a bit of a bearish structure though, kind of a head and shoulders here. Does this suggest that Ethereum is going to take a move that's going to come down to 3,300? Maybe. But we also have the golden pocket here. I know this is a golden pocket because of the color. I know my charts. Look at this. I know the color of the line, this teal line 618. So if this does break down, I would expect that Ethereum would hold up somewhere in the, 3,400 to 3,500, like kind of a bear trap into here before a move higher. If it gets the breakdown, if this is able to just kind of range sideways, that would kind of be the best as Bitcoin sorts out, the uncertainty and certainty over the next week or so. But this is feeling relatively good. We got BNB also, remember the other day made a new all-time high, but now it's looking like it's got a reversal pattern. Got a bit of a shoulder, head, shoulder, kind of ugly here. If that's the case, same thing we just saw on Ethereum. Is this going to have a move that's going to wreck this to the downside? Shout out Jimbo Khan. Super chat says, any thoughts on reserve rights token, RSP, TA, and or fundamentals? Let's take a look at it. Thank you for super chatting. If somebody super chats you, absolutely get your coin looked at. So I will definitely look at that. Let's look at that right after Binance. But just note, Binance, we had that move up to all-time high up here above 8. It's like 808 or something like that. But this look, large momentum, a little bit smaller. And now look, all of a sudden a lower low right here, followed by a lower high. This always tells me more often than not that we're going to get a little bit of a reversal here. A reversal doesn't mean the end of the trend. It just means end of the short-term trend. So this boom, 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 boom. Now here, lower high. If this were to come down like this and test somewhere into here, this would not be the end of the bull cycle for BNB. This would be a little bit of a retest right back to a previous range high. So that wouldn't be the end of the world. In fact, it would be a good reset before the next move to the upside. RSR, let's look at it. RSR, and thank you very much, Jimbo Com, for the super chat. Let's look at reserve rights token. Okay, RSI, let's go to the 3-day. I don't know if I've ever charted this. So double click here, zoom out, double click. Why? There we go. So, okay. Let me look at a couple things here. Okay, that's not going to work there. Let's go here. All right, here we go. So the bounce here came right up to the 382. You see that from this breakdown? Came right up to the 382 and moved back down below. Ups and F, go to the top. Okay. So now I did 2 fibs from this breakdown point, which gives us the bounce target coming back up and the fibs on the way up. And then, which we kind of rejected here at the 382. And then I also drew another fib starting here and coming to the top right here. And that gives us the retrace fibs. And we can see, actually, let me delete this. Boom. Yeah, there we go. So on the way up, boom, it comes down. Look, bounces right on this golden pocket right here, and then loses it, comes back up, rejects at the golden pocket, bounces roughly about the 786, comes back up. This is, I mean, to me, this kind of looks like it's making its foundation to try and make a move to the upside, because this kind of looks like it's trying to form that reversal. It does look a little weak here, but let's look at the other data. Okay, money flow, RSI. RSI is neutral. It's right surrounding just the middle line. It's getting a little bit of a move down, getting a little bit of a move up. It's kind of hovering around this middle line. Let's get down to the 4 hour. We got the negative money flow on the 3-day, but now it was coming back to zero. RSI kind of resetting down here, kind of resetting, double bottom. Money flow's trying to flip up, but I think this is going to be held hostage by what the market does, unless there's other news outside of the, specifically for RSR that pops out that gives it a pump. If no super positive news comes out, then I think this is going to follow kind of the uncertainty in the market. This might bleed down a little bit more and come down and retest, I would think, right in this level right here, about 0073, 0074, which would make sense. We have a triple top right here, quadruple top. Look, boom, 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 boom. And now it's breaking down. Come here. We get, what do you tend to see? Tend to see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Get something like that, like an Elliott wave that comes down into this region. But we're going to have to watch what happens on the RSI and on the money flow. But on the bigger, somewhat medium time frame, look, where'd that go? 3-day chart. We do, I mean, this looks like it's trying to break out of here. If we do break out of the 1.1 cent, next target up is going to be about 1.7 and then up here into the 2.4. We got that guy, $6.99 super chat. Have a great weekend. Smash the likes. Just a reminder, everybody, I will be traveling Friday, but I do have a video going out, a great interview with the founder of a coin. So make sure you tune into that. I will have other content that will be kind of popping out throughout the weekend. I'm going to try and do some stuff at the regular live time, but I'll be in Maui next week visiting with my 103-year-old grandfather and other family as well. And it's 6 hours back. So 11:30, 10:30, 9:30, 8:30, 7:30, 6:30, 5:30. I'd have to stream at 5:30, which means I need to wake up at like 3:30 to go through the. So we'll figure it out. I'm going to figure out some ways that I can get some of the live streams out, but I'm also going to do other stuff in the little afternoon, a little bit more in the afternoon for you guys, which would still be very early morning for me. And I'll be popping other content out. So make sure you get activated. Of course, in our Discord, we got everybody. We got Josh, we got DZ, we got Drew, we got TJ. So they'll be kind of keeping that going. I'll be posting some stuff in there as well. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I hope you all have an absolutely wonderful Crypto Arrow. What do you say? Damn, he hates me. Why? What'd you ask? Did I miss something? Crypto Arrow, there you go. Answer that first question. Just buy Zora. What's answer the? I don't know what Zora is. Any thoughts on I don't know what Zora is. So I don't hate you. I don't hate you at all. But I don't know what Zora is. But let's look at Zora. Is Zora a thing? There's too many things to follow nowadays, guys. So Zora, holy moly, talk about jumping off the diving board. Boom, launching up here. I mean, that's a pretty damn big move. I wouldn't get in on that because that is a pretty damn monster move. But this does look very strong. Money flows very bearish divergent. Look at this. Strong bearish divergence. And we got bearish divergence right here too. See, from this point right here, this is where the money flow was. And then the next high, money flows low. Sorry, the RSI is lower. Money flows much lower. I would, with this, I haven't done any fundamental. I have no knowledge of Zora. I know what Zora is. Yeah, I totally forgot about this deal, the launch, the deployer deal. Yeah, I forgot about that. So it's just so much to follow these days. I mean, I wouldn't buy this just because of these divergences and this rapid movement. I may look for an opportunity there or potentially even lower. I don't think it's going to come back down that low, but option F, draw a fib all the way up here. Look at that. Right here would be the golden pocket. So this could be an opportunity. I watch for a drop of this and be getting in down here. But no, I don't hate you, Crypto Arrow, at all. Thanks for seeing that. It's just hard to keep track of some of these things sometimes. Big love, everybody. Mikhail Memdovich, how you doing? Green Day Profits. Which super chat? Did I miss another? There's only 3. Shout out to you guys. Let's look at Cardano. Also, look, I did not add this recently. You guys that have been watching, we talked about this coming up and getting a little bit of a test here, rejecting back down. Money flow is still positive though here on the 8 hour, still looking good. I would look for an opportunity if this comes down into the 75-cent region. I do think the whole market is going to be having some absolute moon rocket, lighting to the upside in the near future. Avalanche also came right up into its zone, resetting. I think everything's cooling off, getting new tires, getting the engine tuned up, and all this stuff is about to absolutely run. Look, Injective also came right back up into its zone. Sui also, look, came right back up into its zone right here, this previous range. Look at that. bittensor Tau. This is just in this chop zone. When this gets released, it's going to be magnificent. XRP also, look, coming down. What did we talk about? Somebody told me the other day, I remember when I was talking about this potentially coming down here, somebody said, you're crazy, it's going to go blah, blah, blah. Well, look, this is what I drew. I did not add this. This is here from about 3 days ago or so when I drew this, when this was pushing up here looking soft. I said, watch for this to come back to this level. Look at what the price did. Came back to the level that we drew. XLM. Oh, look at this. There, I have not looked at this since the other day. Look at this. Boom, came right into our box. Guys, the next target, if things get a little bit more spicy, the next target's down here, about 33 cents. Ondo, oh my God, it broke down, confirmed. Oh, but if this drops further, I'm an absolute buyer of this. But everybody, I got to roll because I'm about to pee on myself. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Look for downside targets to buy those dips. It's your strategy, not mine. This is not financial advice, but this market is about to melt some faces. Right now is the part that messes up the most people because they don't understand the patient moments in the dips are the things that make the absolute profits in the rips. But that's all I got, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I'll be seeing you from Maui next week. Adios, everybody. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Hit that like button, sucker.